What's up, everybody? Ben here with a quick announcement before we get into this special talkback episode that is loosely centered around episode 5. Nathaniel, Michael, and I are still figuring out exactly how and what this podcast is going to be, and we spend a lot of time recording things that just as of yet haven't made it out into the world. Most of these things are just conversations that we record while we continue to talk about D&D, life, the universe, and everything. All that to say, if you enjoy this extra bit of behind-the-scenes discussion and general nerdiness, let us know. If the people want more talkbacks, we'll try our best to provide. We hope you're all having as much fun listening to us play D&D as we are playing it and learning about how to share it with you all. And like always, if you are enjoying it, give us a like, follow, comment, etc. on whatever platform you're using to journey along with us. Thanks again, everybody, and enjoy. So this is us around the table after the fact. We're going to spend some time talking about the episode that we just recorded. Go over some things, some motivations for our characters, and Nathaniel can explain to us how we messed up or how we did something that we didn't need to do and made him throw away some pages of notes.
No, you guys did great. Honestly,
You did bad. You did so bad at D&D.
So when I think of like planning a session and being a DM, I typically think of like two types roughly of sessions. There's, I guess you could say this is a bit of an oversimplification, but I guess something like a linear session or a crossroads session. Like there's a session where it's like, okay, you're on this track, you're trying to carry out this mission. This could be you're on a dungeon crawl. It could be you're about to go challenge the evil count. It could be you're clearly going towards this particular thing. Or a crossroads session where you're like, okay, there's a bunch of different ways that y'all could go. This campaign that we're playing is not a completely narrative-driven. There's a big sandbox element to it.
You heard it here first, folks. Nathaniel Miller is a railroading DM.
I love to railroad y'all.
Well, if he didn't railroad us, I think Tam railroaded us with deciding to attack the cops.
Yep.
Got him.
Mean
They're corrupt cops.
Mean
I'll
guards.
give that to you.
Yeah, they're corrupt. They had it coming. This was certainly more in the crossroads, in my mind, a crossroads session. Mm-hmm. So, there was a lot of different ways you could go. I spent a lot of time on the front end building a town or a world like this, especially in a kind of a crossroads session, so that I can just kind of react to the things that you guys
things that we poke.
focusing on. Yeah. So, like, if you're in a dungeon that I've planned out, well, when you open the door, it's the next part of the dungeon. But when you're going to a town like this, I have the bare bones idea of the town and a few ideas of different like hooks or details or flavor to give you guys. But really, I just go with it and respond to what you guys seem to be interested in, respond to what your characters seem to be interested in, and that's what drives the story forward. So really, you guys didn't mess anything up. I didn't have to throw any pages of notes away.
Well, you gave us an entire town to explore with. I mean, what was the key? It went up to like Z or something.
Oh, gosh.
This one wasn't too bad.
I haven't even looked at the key really hard.
You don't look at the key? There's some cool stuff, but
It goes to T.
it goes to T, but we only got to check out. Oh, man. Yeah, one place. I was about to say two, but I was like...
One place, and Tam ruined that.
Two, because of the battle, yeah.
Honestly, one of the biggest struggles I have as a DM, which I DM our home game right now, is I have to bite my tongue and not tell everybody, oh my gosh, this is the next thing that's happening, or this is the thing that was going to happen, but you guys tweaked it. So I am so thankful that we get to have this conversation now. And it be a good thing that I'm not ruining a secret or a story that I have to keep it bottled up.
We basically just have to try to force Nathaniel to tell us more stuff that he hasn't told us yet.
Or we look at each other with squinty eyes and... You think that means something? We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, because we know he loves world building, which is to our benefit to some degree. But because of that, we're also like, I know you got like 5 other things happening somewhere else in the world right now.
Yes, what's the third book from the left in this store, Nathaniel?
So
it's a record of all of the mercantile activity from October to December of the year 5365.
Oy.
Yeah,
Both
just
Ben
like a
and Tam
century,
are like,
man.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
anyway.
fine.
Yeah, don't care about that.
I'm both glad and sad that you spent the time and I'm ignoring it.
I actually just made that one up, so you know.
No.
Actually, like almost, yeah, pretty much all of the NPCs I kind of just pulled out of my pocket. Like I didn't plan for Fishhook to have.
Dude, I loved Fishhook. Like when you said tiefling, when you referenced the different people we could see in the bar, in my head I was like, oh, I want to go talk to the tiefling to tiefling. And then as I was thinking that, I remembered, oh, Tam doesn't really talk to girls.
Nope.
Yeah.
So he's
Nope,
not
nope.
going to do that.
Nope.
But it was hilarious though, because in my mind I was like, oh, he's another tiefling, like he's gonna be really cool and all. And then you gave him this accent that was just like, I was like, what's happening? This is amazing.
I just imagine a very dirty barfly tiefling who probably I should have met, like I think has a face tattoo of a fishhook.
Yep.
Or a scar of
Yeah.
one, perhaps.
Probably both, actually. Like a scar from a fishhook that he got in his mouth when he was doing something stupid.
Get that out of your mouth.
Yeah, and then he also got a tattoo because
Yeah.
that's his name.
But
now.
we got solid information from that bar.
Solid intel.
Yeah.
It's a good place. The Satyrs Cup.
It was very funny because I think you rolled a 7 on your history check, and
Yeah.
then Nathaniel went off for a while describe, which is very helpful. It's great.
Well-
I was like, that was a 7. What would a nat 20 have gotten?
Yeah. So with a 7, and I may have talked about this at another point at some, like my philosophy is like, especially with the history check, like you were really asking, what does Lycan know?
Yeah.
And even with a 7, you've been to this town, you know a lot
Yeah.
about it. You've tasted the food, you've seen the sights. So like even a 7, like I'm only gonna give you things on the roll that you might not know.
Yeah.
Right.
that
You
makes
know what I
sense.
mean? So like without having to roll, like if you had just said, what do I know from having been here before, I wouldn't have made you roll at all. But since you were like, hey, like what do I know about this place more broadly speaking, I was like, yeah, if you roll high, maybe you'll pick up something on like something of the way that it's been governed or built, or maybe like you remember that there are secret tunnels beneath it.
Something a little more pointed, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that made sense a lot, because I think the way that I think of Lycan, and I think you guys might as well, is like he definitely will be a fish out of water when we get inland, but he's very much a fish. So anything sea or port related,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I've probably been here at least once, especially if it's a well traveled port.
Yeah.
But then anything inland, that's where the history checks will probably be like, I shouldn't even roll because I don't know why I would even know this.
Well, and the interest, there's not much inland where you are now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an island that y'all are on. It's a bigger island than Fang Island that y'all washed up on several episodes ago, but it's still an island. And Hermida is the big city on the island. There are some villages, but it's not like you're going to the inland of a continent, like where Tam is
Right,
from.
like 7 days journey. You're not.
Right.
You're not at the end
Right.
yet.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I thought like, I mean, it was clear from the beginning, like y'all are very like task-minded players, and so pretty quickly I could tell, oh, y'all are number one priority. We're gonna try to find Lucia Cassian.
I wonder. It's very funny. I think in the very first episode, I said something, and Michael was like, "You remind me of a friend." In character, said, "You remind me of a friend of mine," because it was something that Ben would have said, and probably has said. There is definitely some of me coming through in Tam.
Yeah.
In that, if he doesn't think it's interesting, he's like, "All right, whatever, I don't care." Moving on. Anyway.
Yeah, which is funny, because I think that those are usually the players I play, like who I'm playing in our home game right now. Like, I feel like that's me. Like a lot of the mannerisms and thinkings, and like, oh, he would act like this, he would say this, he would stand up for this. I'm like, yeah, that's so easy for me to
Comes
get in that
very
mindset.
naturally, yeah.
This Lycan, I'm like, he's not a great dude.
No.
And so like I'm doing things where I'm like, I don't
Makes me feel a
love
little
that I'm doing
uncomfortable.
this, but like it 100% makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which in a lot of ways, what you're saying is like you're stretching yourself to play.
Yeah,
to
100%.
play Lycan, which is I think is really cool. It's a creative choice that you're making. I think that's really great. So yeah, y'all did that. Y'all had to throw a goofy NPC at you with the clothing shop.
Oh yeah, man.
That was still. We were talking about this earlier when we were having dinner. I had a very distinct picture of Lycan in my head based on how you described him on the ship as a hand of the ship, which fit that in that zone. We come into this port town. The very first thing you want to do is go buy clothing. Tam and Ben were very surprised by that.
Yep.
And then, again, Tam and Ben both were just like, all right, cool, go buy your clothes. I would like a hat. And
Oh,
then-
I could tell because as I was saying it, I could tell that you as Tam were just kind of like, we don't need to do this. Like, we want to look rough if we're gonna pretend to be immersive. We don't need this and stuff. And in my head, I had already said it like, no, I'm getting new clothes. Like I'm getting nice clothes because Lycan is not staying in this garb right now.
That
Like,
was
no.
hilarious. Just the enjoyment that I got to have of just constantly doing the dog shaking its head because it's got water in its ears. Like, what is happening?
Yep.
What is happening?
Yeah.
And then it
What an
works.
image.
And then it worked later, you know, when I was not seducing, but
Cozying
charming,
up to charming. Yes.
charisma, charming,
Yes.
a informant to give me
important
information.
distinction. Important
We had very
distinction.
different reactions and interactions with authority in this episode.
Well, it was also hilarious because I feel like the second I like referred to her as darling, both of you were like, oh, and
Well,
I
it
was
was-
like, guys,
It was a very southern, low, darling.
Oh,
I mean, that was like, it wasn't the waitress at the Waffle House calling you, and honey, what do you want to eat? Nobody goes, ooh. The low, well, everybody's working for somebody, darling. Like,
oh yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great
It
great
was-
character choice. Fun aspect of the story. Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Well, it's also going to be fun to play that off of Tam, who I don't know what's going to happen with him down the line, but who just like freezes
Yeah,
up.
can't talk to a girl.
Like,
and it's been perfect. Like that was because charisma was my dump stat. Just
Yeah.
knowing that from the get go. It's been fun to play that, and y'all have been both really helpful too. All the interactions with, is it Bergen or Borgen?
Bergen.
Bergen.
Burgun.
Bergen.
Which, again, fits the low charisma.
kind of like Burger almost.
Mispronouncing his name. It is a little
But
bit like Burger.
every time y'all been like, dude, Tam, why are you saying that? Tam's like, what? No, you're making it weird. I didn't say anything wrong. And that has been so much fun
Yeah.
to role play that, but also to be dying laughing on the inside because it fits a low charisma character,
Yeah.
or just seeing how you guys are helping me make him even worse around people.
I feel like this might be a helpful or interesting thing for people to hear. Like, how did you guys decide on or come up with some of your character traits or concepts, or just how did y'all come to be playing the characters that you're playing?
I will say one thing that really helped, and I was actually thinking about this today, because we did standard array stats. We know we're coming into at least one bad
One
stat,
negative stat,
one
yeah.
negative stat, unless you want to, mechanically kind of hamstring yourself a little bit with stat bonuses the way that they're done in the original
Right.
5th edition handbook. So that to me,
You knew you had to pick a weakness.
I knew I had to pick
Yeah.
a weakness, and the way that I enjoy building characters is making all of their strengths, weaknesses, or whatever fit all together.
Yeah.
So with Tam, it was just really fun to think of, okay, he's got low charisma. That doesn't mean he's like a dork, loser, weirdo. It just means people don't respond particularly powerfully to him. In particularly, let's make him really bad around women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And have no interest in getting better, and have no desire to practice or improve. It's like, nope, I'm bad. I do not care. That is a flaw in my character. Moving on.
I think for me, I was
What
like,
you're saying is that Tam's a Sigma.
I don't know.
Oh my
Nathaniel,
gosh,
no,
get out.
no.
Hey, we got to make it relevant for the Gen Z.
No, we don't.
We got to make it
No.
relevant for the Gen Z.
No, we don't.
Sigma got Ohio Rizzler
What?
Phantom Tax.
Hey, Ben will let it out. It's fine.
Exactly.
we can say whatever we
yeah,
want.
it's exactly what's happening right now. It's like, nope. In my head, I'm scratching things out. Nope.
No, it was funny. You
No.
finished. And I wasn't sure if you were finished, but you were both just looking at me. I was like, oh shoot, it's my turn.
Give me your turn. Yeah.
No, I think the way I go to plan my characters, I love making characters. Like I do. Like I have
Yeah.
like another 5, but I think what I realized pretty quickly.
5.
Oh yeah, man,
ready to
I love
go.
it. I love it. But
How
I
many
think
Give
times-
us a snapshot of like 1 or 2.
okay, yeah. The next 2 that I'm really
The next in the
excited
chamber.
about. The next in the chamber, it's
Ooh.
kind of a tie between 2. It depends on
Okay.
what game a character of mine dies in. I'm only playing 2. I'm acting like I play like 20 games or something. But the 2 that I'm being most excited about is a Goliath Druid of Wildfire,
Oh, that's sick.
and the other one is a Furbog Ruin Knight.
Oh, that's
So
very
fighter. Yeah. So those are the 2 that like in my head I'm like, I already have like a little bit of backstory figured out. But I will say what I did figure out is don't fully make your character before you even start the campaign because
Yeah.
like you really need to listen to your DM about like, oh, what world is this?
Yeah.
Because a character you might be really excited to play doesn't really fit in it.
Sure.
So even like our home game, a little bit, I kind of wanted to play a sailor, but sailing wasn't a huge thing, and so that kind of kicked me over into a cleric essentially, which I like. He's my favorite. I love playing. I
Yeah.
love playing Shep, but so I have a tendency to try to min max really hard up front, but then I love giving little weird tricks and like traits and things like this. So like even like what you guys saw in this episode, like one of Lycan's is he really likes really nice clothing. And there's some backstory to that and everything, but it like, right, because in my head I'm like, why would a guy who's been on boats and ships for years and years, why would he care about, nice tailored clothes? Like that doesn't make sense. And then yeah, coming in, I knew I'd have with the standard array, I knew intelligence was just going to be my dump stat. And, and even the way I played in this last one, I think the way I like to play it, I never like just playing someone incredibly dumb because I'm like, most of the time people aren't actually that dumb, just like day to day, minute to minute. But so what I did like, what I do like doing with him is whenever I fail one of these checks, it makes sense that like, I mean, I think Nathaniel, the way you said it was just like, you don't see anyone, you don't think anyone's following you. And so I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that out of character.
Yes, Michael knows what that means.
But in character, I'm just like, okay, Lycan thinks nobody at all is following him. They're all tailing Tam. So he's just going to turn around blindly.
Well, I can't remember if you said it, Nathaniel, or maybe I said it to one of the players in another game that I DM. Your character doesn't know you rolled a 2.
Yep.
Like, they had the idea or they looked for something.
Yeah.
That, and also I describe it, like a bad perception check. You man looked for it.
Yeah.
I was looking for something today, and I had to call Mary Elizabeth to find out where it was. And she goes, yeah, it's in my top drawer. And it was one of those, I looked there. I did.
Yeah.
And I did not see it. It wasn't there 10 seconds ago. I had rolled a nat 1 on that perception check, and Ben didn't know that I had rolled that.
Ben actually rolls at his house on a regular basis.
Before he does any tasks,
I roll.
Ben rolls a d20.
You were talking about characters, like having them in the chamber. David was asking, my oldest was asking the other day, so if Tam dies, who's your next character going to be? I looked at him with shock. Because I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. He can't die yet. At that point, we'd maybe recorded 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
It's like he can't die because I won't be ready for him to be dead. I don't know what's next. Something will come up and it will be fun. But it was just so funny for him to ask, just so forthrightly, oh, what happens if Tam dies? I don't know.
He's too new. He can't die yet.
Exactly. Exactly. He's not allowed to die.
His story is not yet told.
He's under warranty.
I think that's really interesting. Both of y'all and both of y'all approach building characters in very different ways too, which is fun. And it means that like the characters that y'all play in the games are very different, which means they rub up against each other and interact in like super fun ways too. So, yeah, it's fun. Guys, it's fun playing D&D with you.
It's a ton
Yes.
of fun playing with you guys. And it's funny because I had that thought about like, oh, we're gonna have different views because even the way Tam reacted to the fight that he started in the shop, because part of like even though it's hard, I like trying to think through like, you know, how some characters might react. And even with that, like I was just like, Tam feels like a bit of a hypocrite right now because he's over here being like, hey, I broke this dude's nose to save somebody, but hey, you hurt them too much. You did lethal when they were attacking us. You shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, that'd
be like
Yeah, that
pulling a
doesn't
gun.
compute
That'd
for
be like
Lycan.
that'd be like pulling a gun in a football game.
what football games are you going? I don't think it's like that at all.
That's my point. It doesn't fit. Like, oh, we're having a fight. Oh yeah, fight. Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. Whoa. Be like, yeah, you sacked my quarterback. I'll shoot you next time.
I don't think those are the same analogies at all.
I think that I understand what Ben's saying. It's not the same analogy, but I do understand what he said. Like there was one level of combat that Lycan did seem, at least from Tam's point of view, to escalate. But I think again that comes back to like y'all's characters perceiving the world differently. Like Tam is, I think, lawful in his alignment, and deep down is basically like a soldier. You know, like specific rules of engagement. The rules of engagement and going into that fight with the corrupt guards was, well, I'm going to knock their heads around.
Yeah.
Tam's background, which I don't think has been out in the open as much, is very different, and maybe don't have those clean boxes of like rules of engagement type stuff. You know
mean
what I mean?
Lycan?
Yeah, that's sorry. Yeah,
No,
Lycan.
you're good.
Lycan's background is different and doesn't have those like clear cut like categories. Like for Lycan, almost all the time, whenever he's been in a battle, like whenever he's had to go into combat, like it's to the death.
Yeah, 100%.
Which like it totally makes sense why you reacted the way you did.
And I tried to even play because as Tam was like yelling at me, like, "Hey, you don't need to be doing this." I was just kind of like, "I'm still gonna do this," but I heard him even in the state I'm at. So let me just hurt multiple people,
Yeah.
and hope and
I'll get them all.
Essentially, just like I literally was like, I'm just gonna hope I don't do enough damage to kill them.
And you didn't.
Like that's basically what it. And then, but then it was funny because I don't know if we said this like during this little mic right now or not. But then you pointed out like it might have been better to kill them based on what happened after the fact.
I think Tam, it's funny. It was not really my intention to play him this way, but it's kind of come about that he is fairly naive. I think his straightforwardness, his looking at the surface of things has made him kind of naive. Like the whole thing with Jem. Great NPC, by the way.
Yeah, I really like him.
Like even after the fact, and some of this again is just me coming through, and it helps to know that we're doing, you know, we're essentially playing pretend.
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
telling
yeah.
a story, which
Yeah.
is still fun, but the idea that, oh yeah, you just beat the bully up, and the bully learns his lesson, he goes home. Oh no, that's
and the bully is part of a much bigger
yeah,
bully
this
system.
a system of
you know.
systemic bullying, and like no, they're gonna, you know, Jem's like no, they're gonna come back.
A
It's gonna be
repressive government
Yes.
who extorts from its citizens.
exactly.
Speaking of which, real quick, Nathaniel, do you want to tell us about these 3 items that we were
Yes. So
given after beating up the
Beating up a
shopkeep,
helpless
we
shopkeeper.
say?
Yes,
yes.
and he even gave back some of the money that I gave him.
Yeah, he was too nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how you guys interact with him in the future, if at all. Yeah, so you guys got 3 pieces, a set of armor, a pair of goggles or glasses, and a mirror. So the set of armor is a set of scale mail that is a set of scale mail of poison resistance. So
Okay.
if you wear it and are attuned to it, you will be resistant to poison damage. You'll take half from any poison damage that befalls you. The goggles are an item called the Eyes of the Eagle, which basically give you advantage on perception checks that rely on sight. Essentially like magic binocular
Cool.
things, almost. In conditions of clear visibility, you can make out details of even extremely distant creatures and objects as small as 2 feet across. So you'll be able to see from far away with those guys. And then the last item, and again, these were all randomly generated. So I didn't come up with any of these. These are all from different published sources with Dungeons and Dragons. Different books. Some of y'all might be like, those are 2 powerful magic items for you to just be handing out. And I don't care, because if I give my players cool things, it's just more things I can take away from them later. So that will be fun. This last item is called a Mirror of Life Trapping. It's a big mirror, 4-foot-tall mirror. When viewed indirectly, its surface shows faint images of different creatures. It has an armor class of 11, 10 hit points. If it's reduced to 0 hit points, it's shattered and destroyed. If you hang the mirror on a vertical surface, such as a wall, and you're within 5 feet of it,
You said such as a wall,
Yeah,
or
such as a wall.
which is a wall. Okay.
such as a wall.
You lay it on the ground.
For those of you that don't know, a vertical surface is a wall.
Yes.
Oh, vertical. Never mind. Forward work. I knew that.
If you're within 5 feet of it, you can use an action to speak its command word and activate it. Once it's activated, it remains activated until you use your action to speak the command word again. While it's activated, any creature other than you that sees its reflection in the mirror within 30 feet of it must succeed on a DC 15 Charisma saving throw or be trapped with everything it is wearing or carrying in one of the mirror's 12 extra dimensional cells.
12?
12 cells. Also, y'all might hear our cat
Yep.
in the background.
We've had to edit her out of episodes before.
Oh, really? Daisy, you're not allowed in the podcast. This saving throw is made with advantage if the creature knows of the mirror's nature and constructs succeed on the saving throw automatically. Each of the 12 extra dimensional cells are an infinite expanse filled with thick fog that reduces visibility to 10 feet. Creatures trapped in the mirror cells don't age. They get out of here.
Nathaniel, while you're doing that, rotate your microphone 90 degrees. Like on the bolt. There you go.
Like that?
Uh-huh.
Is that good?
You can tighten these guys too if you need to. I think there is something with the way that I think because you're turning your head a lot, I think it's going to pick up better
If
that
it's like
way.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Each extra-dimensional cell is an infinite expanse filled with thick fog that reduces visibility to 10 feet. Creatures trapped in the mirror cells don't age, they don't need to eat, drink, or sleep. A creature within a cell can escape using magic that permits planar travel. Otherwise, they are confined to the cell until freed.
Jeez.
If it traps a creature, but its 12 cells are already full, the mirror frees one trapped creature at random. If the mirror is shattered, all creatures inside of it are freed and appear in unoccupied space near it. While you are within 5 feet of the mirror, you can use an action to speak the name of one creature trapped in it, and then it'll appear in the mirror, and you can talk to it.
It doesn't come out. You summon it to the
Summon it to talk to interrogate
Mirror,
it.
mirror on the wall.
Alternatively, you can essentially speak the command word to choose to release someone.
Good
So basically, it just gave you a magical jail.
You gave us the Phantom Zone.
The Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
So, big Superman fan. Literally watching Smallville right now.
Wait, we haven't talked about this. Superman's my favorite
Dude,
superhero.
I love Superman. Holland's watching Smallville with me for the first time. I used to watch. That was like my show as a kid.
I had the first 5 seasons on DVD.
I have
All of them.
So yeah, those are the magic items I gave you guys. I'll be excited to see how you
The mirror.
use
So
them.
the mirror is going to can be super OP, overpowered, but it's a big 4-foot mirror.
Yeah, like you're not going to be able to like carry it.
Just like hold it up and just run.
Yeah, it says it weighs 50 pounds.
We'll have to wait until we get like a some type of extra dimensional. Well, could we even put it in that?
In a bag of holding?
Yeah, because it's saying the cells are also extra dimensional spaces. So we're putting something.
Oh, like the whole bag in a bag nuclear bomb thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'll have to find out. Yeah.
Interesting.
You can also just hang it on your in the ship.
In the boat.
I thought about that, but then we would have to like whatever we want to trap, we have to like bring into the ship first and then do it. I don't know. This is interesting though.
I just amused myself and don't worry about it. This may get edited out, but I was gonna say when you finish seducing the
Wasn't seduction. Wasn't
bar lady-
Charming. When he finishes charming
charming her,
Talia.
and you bring her somewhere with the mirror on the wall. There you go. We now have a lady in the mirror.
There you go. Mirror, mirror, who's the fairest one of all?
Not you, because you're
It's
stuck.
you. It's you, Lycan. You're so hot.
Don't like this. Didn't try to play it like that.
I know. We know that you didn't try
Knew
to
I
play
should
it
have
like
made like and married.
See, Superman.
Get over it, man.
just-
It was
What?
fine.
Who's
It was-
who's
yeah.
yours, huh? Let's get it.
Spider-Man, always.
Okay.
Nah, Superman's better than Spider-Man.
Yeah, by far.
You shut your face.
By far.
By
Superman
far.
is way better than Spider-Man.
No. DC sucks. There, I said it.
Oh, man.
One man's
I
opinion.
irony.
said
That's
it.
wrong.
Oh, man. All right. And what else from this episode do y'all have any questions for me?
Ooh.
I won't reveal things if they are not yet to be revealed.
I
but-
feel like I had already put together a little bit that I'm like, oh, there are ones under the city, and then Talia said it, and then I got the like letter and everything, so it just like extra confirmed it.
Oh yeah.
But like, who's following us?
Yeah, when they just disappeared.
Yeah, because like,
I didn't think I was rolling that high on my perception checks to see them, but I was rolling over 20.
well, I rolled
Yeah.
like 19 when they were right next to me, and they were just gone. Which like rolls don't give you anything and everything in the world, but I was just kind of like,
See, you were a little bothered. Like, no, it was 19. Nathaniel's like, yeah, and you don't see anything.
because it was right next to me, and then he's like, they're just gone. I was like, how did I not see it? But like, also though, at the same time, I'm like, are these people like on this girl in hiding's like side?
The really funny thing, I'm sorry, you finish.
That's it. That's the whole
The
thing.
funny thing to me, and this is just me snap judgments. The whole time they were following us, they're bad guys. They're spying on us. These are
Agents of the Admiralty.
agents of the Admiralty. These are spies. And then when they popped up next to Lycan and didn't think, oh, they must be a good guy. Complete flip in my thinking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they must be helping us. Okay. Glad I didn't just turn and shoot my bow at them like I thought for doing just for a moment there.
It was also interesting when because I kept asking you. I was just like, do I see Tam? Because I was fully ready just to walk by. Like, but then I was like,
Just be like, someone
do
else's
I
problem.
see? Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But I was like, do I see Tam? And then I was like, it does make sense just to go to just like take a look, not for Tam, but just like, hey, what's happening?
I feel like Lycan's the kind of person that would stop and watch a bar fight.
Yeah, exactly. But then if it's like someone he knows, even if it's someone he doesn't know super well,
He'll get
depending.
involved.
Oh, he's
on it.
immediately waiting.
Yeah,
in.
he's just kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, do they need help? Yeah, they need help.
Yeah.
I'll get in this.
Yeah, I think the difference there is Tam would like step in to stop the bar fight, but he would not have a problem beating the snot out of whoever is involved to quote unquote make them stop,
Yeah, Lycan steps in to win.
to calm them down.
And I legit tried to give it a chance because even when you're like they're gonna take swings on you, I was like I'm just saying I'm just standing here.
Right, yeah.
And the second you swung, I was like, all right.
Yeah, these guys were both not good and not smart, which is a dangerous combination.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say also that the armor of Agathis is so nice for me
Yeah, that's
because
sick.
it's not concentration And as long as I cast it before I go into the rage, it's technically like an extra 20 points of damage I can take.
Oh, because
Because
you
it
have
halves.
right.
Because you get depending on what level you cast it at, it's 5 for every level if you upcast it, and I have to cast it at a level 2. It's a racial ability, and so I get 10 temp HP and then 10 damage to whoever hits me
Nice.
first.
That's really cool.
It's only the first person though, so anyone who hits me after that, they don't get hurt or anything. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just the first hit.
I don't think anyone hit you after the first hit.
I don't think so either.
I think we both. I took 2 hits.
Yeah.
And I think you took 1.
Yep.
I missed a lot because I was also swinging with the spiritual cudgel.
Yeah, your intimidation roll on the front end was really helpful. Like there would have been 2 other guys in that brawl, and like
That's very true.
if they had, I try to play enemies like with respect to and regard for like who are they? Like these are just a bunch of bullies. They're not like none of them were like, okay, I want to like die for these,
Yeah, this
5 gold
This
that I'm trying
furball's
to
5
extort.
gold. Yeah.
Not, but they, but they're also stupid, and so they did pick a fight with people they probably shouldn't. But if they're all there, if there's 6 of them instead of 4 of them, and the damage is being spread out a little bit more, they might have been willing to like stick around for longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was also interesting because at one point you called your cudgel something else initially, and I was like, "What is that?" So I looked it up like mid-session. I was like, "What did he call it? Like a
truncheon?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
think
like-
you said
That's
truncheon.
what I said.
Probably,
A
yeah.
truncheon is like a police
Like a
billy
billy
club.
club.
Well,
yeah.
I looked it up. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
I googled it.
Thank you, Google. But yeah, like you called it a couple times, and I was like, "What is?"
Yeah, when
this
you asked,
thing?
like, what are they swinging at us with? It's like, it's a truncheon. It's a club.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, everyone who's listening, like, yeah, you just know what that
He
term
already-
is,
He
right?
already said.
Here's your vocabulary word for the day.
Yes.
Truncheon.
Truncheon.
A short, thick stick carried as a weapon by a police officer.
Oh,
Truncheon.
by definition, it is by a police officer.
That's what this
Interesting.
dictionary on Google tells me. It says it's a British slang word, so maybe it's not the real world, real word here in the United States.
Yeah, level 3 is nice. A lot more versatility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, when you said a whole squadron of dwarves got swallowed up. when Fishhook's friend Jose saw an entire group get swallowed up, I kept waiting for that story to take a turn back towards normal
Reality.
and then it just never did. That was great. It was like, well, I mean, we'll go investigate this storm drain. I've read it. I have a healthy, respect of storm drains and things that may or may not live in them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. It ate a bunch of dwarves. Great.
You never know. You never know I'm going to come out of the storm drains.
Well, apparently, the lady we're looking for is down there somewhere.
It's somewhere, somehow.
And she's got to eat.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that other dude was a druid that turned into a bear. Who knows?
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Maybe her thing's an octopus. I don't know. Kraken.
There we go. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else from this episode? Mostly it was the time in the... I think the shock of Lycan's clothing still... It was so fun
was your
for me.
moment.
That's
Because the
funny.
whole time I really was just like, of course you're allowed to do this. It's your kid. But what is he doing? The Lycan in my head doesn't wear clothes like that. Oh, he's thought these are very nice clothes, Mr. Darcy. Ooh.
I think it's our first Pride and Prejudice reference on the
Oh,
pod.
man,
so
that
that's
That may be
great.
the first Pride and Prejudice reference in D&D ever.
I'm sure they've talked
Doubtful.
about it. I'm sure they've talked about it on NADPOD or something like that.
Yes, everyone.
Pride and Prejudice?
Everyone who plays D&D, Ben, doesn't like Pride and Prejudice. Come on.
Well, no, I mean, just, there's nothing to do with liking it or not liking it. So here we go. This is why Tam is always being assaulted. I didn't say that. It doesn't fit. Pride and Prejudice. Anyway,
I'll go on the record. I love Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, I do too.
Great
have you read the
movie.
book?
Yeah,
I
a
have.
long time ago.
Garbage.
No, it's so good. What are you talking about? It's really good. Oh my gosh.
The movie's good. I like the movie.
movie's good. The TV BBC miniseries is good, and the book's good.
Hugh.
What
Which Hugh is
what
that?
is a good book that is not like within a trilogy or multiple series book from you, Benjamin?
Put me on the spot. Jeez. I don't know. There's lots of them. But why?
The Stranger by
why
Albert
can't
Camus.
it? I mean, most things by Stephen King are good books.
Yeah, sure.
Why can't it be in a trilogy or a series though?
I was just curious because you feel very strongly about the Pride and Prejudice. So I was just curious.
Oh, no,
like,
no,
Okay,
I-
what's a good book?
See, again, I didn't
You
feel.
said it's not a good book. I think.
No,
I think your
okay,
exact
yes,
words
I
were
did,
like,
I did say that. Yes, the book is terrible. You're right. All the comedy of manners books.
The what?
That's what they're comedies of manners.
Oh.
They're supposed to be funny.
They are funny. Yeah.
Mr. Darcy.
Anyway, Mazul, what was your favorite moment of the
I have to get off of books.
episode? You shared your favorite moment, which was the clothing shopping.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Pride and Prejudice.
No, no,
I was
no,
like,
no.
Oh man, we're talking about this.
No, we gotta move
Yeah.
past that. We
Mr.
gotta.
Bingley.
My favorite part.
Or like a moment that like a Kodak moment of like this is a snapshot that was fun, that I enjoyed.
I think I definitely enjoyed the battle, but I think I just enjoyed the like because we have to do a lot of theater of the mind to some degree, but I really like just like the picture in my mind of this Furbog's like shop, the way you described it with like dishes falling, like beat up furniture,
yeah.
like
And then-
like in my head I'm like, oh, this in my mind is looking like almost like a thrift store,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
downtown that like maybe has an upstairs that like no one ever goes to. I was just like, this is funny that this is like where we're fighting these guys at.
To me, one of the funniest parts of that was the fact that he was like, "Yeah, we gotta make it look like it was work," and he starts pushing things over in his own shop.
yeah, and I just really liked that NPC you made. Like he was probably Fish Hook's up there, Tally's up
Yeah,
there,
Fish
but
Hook
like
was fun.
he was just funny, talking slow, being like this shopkeeper, and then like Tam just like feeling bad because he's like, I just made this guy's life harder.
I got this so wrong.
Yeah,
We should have killed them.
I think for me, Fish Hook was really fun to like pull out of thin air and like just invent. He was a lot more silly than I thought he was going to be, and I also like knowing some of the plants that I have. I'm like, okay, Fish Hook's kind of right on some stuff about what's happening,
Yeah.
but like being able to play with it and be like, oh yeah, like
This guy's nuts.
Well, it's also
He's a little bit nuts.
It's also funny because you kept saying like, "Oh, my buddy Jose," which was hilarious because my mind went to Ben Marvel, Ant-Man. Like when did you see that? Okay, good. Like in the first one where he's talking to his buddy.
Yep.
And he goes into the
I know what you're talking
long
about.
Yeah.
explanations of everything. In my mind, that's where my head went
Michael
to.
Pena, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like this is part of how I do world building. Like the most cultures when I world build, I tend to try to draw inspiration from one or two or three like actual historical things of inspiration. And so like the Admiralty is a mix between like the East India Company and medieval like France and Spain, or medieval Italy and Spain, excuse me. And so like there's elements of those kinds of cultures and names. And as you continue going on, I'm trying to give somewhat of a like Italian,
A vibe.
Yeah.
Spanish speaking vibe to some of the Admiralty people who are actually from Asturia, at least.
I always forget that you're like a pretty big history buff and like you've read like a lot of the World War books and things like that,
Yep.
and planes and all that. So
Yes, I mean history is just such a good, at least in my opinion, it's really helpful for me in helping me to be creative. Find inspiration for world building and how like I think there's a value in worlds that feel like they could be real, like that are not necessarily like accurate. Like I'm not counting the
What's the principal export of Asturia?
yeah, the grams of salt, like salt that are produced on a monthly basis by, this town in Asturia. But more on the sense of like, okay, like generally the the way this world works feels consistent, you know, and I'm not just like completely like off the wall, like ignoring how people and armies or economies or political systems might feasibly work. You know what I mean?
Feasibly, that's the key. Like,
I want things to be feasible. Yeah. So, so I look at history a lot for some of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this was fun.
yeah,
It's a
I think
great
that
session.
gives us a good stopping point,
Good stopping
Yeah,
point.
sure.
and we'll see.
We
We
can't
will
we can't
see.
forget about that scroll next session.
That's right.
Still haven't opened it.
All right. How do we end a talk back? How do we end?
How do we end this? I don't know.
All right. Well, we will see you guys on the flip
On
side.
the flip side.